Hello there, this is my first video on EU4. It's not really going to be mostly about EU4. I'm basically going to be talking about the current state of the UK while playing EU4. Which, for my last Clan Square video, I enjoyed doing that type. Like, just playing a game just by itself is kind of not my style. First of all, let's just, pick who we want to play. Let's just play some Japan. We're not going to do too hard, yeah, that'll be fine. Lucky Nations. Yeah, we're not going to be playing, like, focusing on EU4 too much, we're just going to be talking about the current state of the UK, which is bad. Pretty bad. Whenever I think about what's happening in the UK, it just makes me feel... It doesn't make me feel good, because so much... Like, people losing so much freedom over the stupidest policies, like... the lottery feeders, I watch them from time to time, they give me a view that you don't really get too often from main media sources. Like, I don't listen through everything they say, I just, I just, see what's going on, I look from different perspectives. And I heard about the case, like, a school that literally is 98 for, where they get fucking children, to report on teachers and other children on pronouns and shit like that. It's like, why is this country going in that direction? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, we have so many other problems we need to deal with, yet we're dealing with that fucking gender politics instead of, other things that require a lot more attention than that. Not privateer. For example, housing, shit like that, like the immigration problem that's happening. Where like I understand. I'm a bit conflicted on the immigration stuff, which because I'm Pakistani. I've lived here all my life. Christ, speak a bit properly. I've lived here all my life. I probably will be living here most of my life. Well, probably not actually. I've lived here all my life, and my parents moved here in 20-ish years ago. I was born here, lived here all my life. They did it legal way, all that, which is fine. We've integrated well. Oh shit. Oda, I always ally with Oda. Who are you? Yeah, so we've integrated well, everything's fine. We're not exactly very rich, but we live a decent life. And that's how we should be, Nice, peaceful life, trying to make a living for yourself, which my family has done for the most part. But then you see people, they don't do that. They don't want to do that. Like areas, like mainly Asian areas. You just see that they don't really care. Like, they will act how they want. Shit like that. It's like shit like that, and it just makes you feel like, oh, like, why can't you just integrate better than you are right now? Because if we did that, like, I wouldn't say people would have too much problem with immigration. There'd probably still be problems with immigration, but it'd be a lot better than what it is right now. But it's not like that, is it? Yeah, nothing's like straightforward, unfortunately. And it's like we should, immigration's a pretty big problem. Like I've seen a couple of videos where like random like immigrants come from like boats. You see them like fucking cheering on. They made it to Britain and shit illegally, and they just act how they however they want. They act rude, shit like that. Not in the videos, but like to go Asian areas, that's what you kind of see most of the time. I've seen that plenty of times, and it's just like if you didn't have the immigration, like if you didn't have people acting like that, what the fuck? What the fuck? I literally have your area. Okay, like, oh for fuck's sake, like, if we didn't have the immigration problems, like, that'd be one thing, from, like, a long list of problems we have, that we could just scratch off, and then we could focus on other problems, like, housing, knife crime. That's a pretty fucking big one. Knife crime is fucking... Well, in Britain, we don't have guns. Well, some people do, but, most people don't have guns, so knife's the second best thing to do. Or a machete. Machete is the preferred weapon of most people. And that's... Well, if we go to London, I don't live in London, but I know it has a pretty bad reputation. Like, I've been there a couple of times. Looks like a shithole. And it's just like... people like the government should, sort that stuff out, because I don't want to live in London. I don't, like, some people want to live in London. It's like, why would you want to live in London? It looks shit. Fucking grey buildings. There's no lot, because I don't like modern architecture. It's just terrible for me. It's like grey shit. It's like, don't like it. Where I live, it's not too bad. It's a bit green, but still dull grey colours, and it's just like. So that's why I don't want to live in London, because it's just worse. Where I live, it's not that bad, but in London, like the last couple of times I went to London, I can't really say that. I've only been like twice or 3 times. I've just fucking hated it. Like, last time I went, it was like a school trip, which is ages ago, for like a media trip, and I just fucking hated looking outside. Like, this is so dull, boring. Why are you losing? The fuck are you losing? Like, it's so dull and boring. It's just like, how do people live there? It's just so bland and uninteresting. I understand why people live in like in the countries. Like, I never understood that beforehand, but now I'm starting to appreciate the countryside more than I ever have normally. Like, normally I'll just say, oh, why would I want to live in the countryside? Like, I never got that before, but now I understand completely. It's just a lot more. It's a lot better in the countryside. It looks better. You don't smell shit everywhere, like the fucking smog in the air. You don't have to deal with that as much. I fucked up. Fuck me. Give me stability. I always love stability. Yeah, like, you don't have to worry about the smog, the fucking shitty air, the shit people. Which is a generalization, but it's fair enough, I guess. It's like, you have shit people, shit everything. I need to peace out. You have shit people, you have shit, like, everything. You have knife crime. At least in the countryside, like you don't like see as much as that. Like you don't see a lot of that. It's like kept out in the countryside. Like it's a much better place in the countryside. I need to concentrate. I'm rambling a bit here. Sorry about that. I just have a lot of thoughts. I don't really plan what I'm saying. I just say it, so sometimes they come across as rambling, like I did in my previous video about India, which is getting worse. Like that situation. Like whenever I see YouTube, nobody's talking about it. I don't know if that's like what would you call it? Like YouTube doesn't like talking about it. Barry, sorry. YouTube doesn't like talking about it or something like that. But I literally hear nobody speak about what's happening in India, even though it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. If that doesn't get sorted out, like we could have a massive wave of corona. Because 1.5 billion people live in India. I don't know, somewhere around there. Second populated country. That has a lot of chances of mutating the virus worse than what it is. And if it mutates to a point where the vaccines we already have are useless, that's a lot of time that we just lost. Because we can't really do anything then. It's like we have to make another vaccine. And a lot more people are going to get sick. A lot more people are going to die. It's like... thankfully the international community is doing something about it. Surprisingly. Like Britain has sent some supplies. Even Pakistan sent some supplies. Very surprisingly. Like, it's not surprising, I guess. It's... yeah, it's not really surprising. It's more... It's not really surprising, you know. They're close countries, it's not really surprising, actually. But yeah, it's like... yeah, stability, not losing much. Yeah, it's like... the country next to you has similar people, you're going to care about. Even though you have Pakistan and India have a rivalry, it's just... I guess common human decency wins out over these things, I guess. Which is nice. It was nice to see that. It was nice to see that, Pakistan's going to do something about it, which restored my faith in humanity a bit. But back to Britain. We've talked about immigration, gender politics. Let's just talk about regular politics, I guess. Boris, I feel like, has failed. Well, definitely failed the British people. Because he could have done... mercantilism, all etc. Like, he could have done a lot more than what he's done. He's been very indecisive of what he's doing. Like, I remember in January, he said, students can go back. Then he said, after a day of school, he said, we can't allow that, we can't allow that, we have to shut down the schools. And he shut down the schools a fucking day after they opened, which is just, that's ridiculous. It's like, what information did you have previous, what information did you get over one day that you didn't have a day before? Like, if you were going to close down the schools, you should have done it previously, like a day beforehand, not the day after, where you said a day after, which is just because the schools here prepared a lot, track and search, well, not track and trace, all of that, like they prepared for it. And then Boris just comes in, slaps them down and says, fuck it, we're closing down the schools, deal with it. Go back to your online learning, which is, I mean, it's something at least, but it's like, some people are not exactly suited for the online learning. Another thing we can talk about is gender politics. Very controversial subject, I know. Uh, I don't actually let's talk about trans and feminist problems together because they might as well be together. Like they're very similar. I don't really mind like trans people as much. Like I don't, me and my religion is not really. It's like gay people. It's just not something acceptable. I guess it's not acceptable. I guess, but I don't mind gay people. But the way like politics and all that has gone, it's just like no. They should stop this because the amount the government, most governments, society, they give something to trans people and they want more. They always want more. You can't really you can't please them. They're always gonna want something more than what you already given them. So why please them in the first place? Like homophobic hate crimes. I think no, that's not really a good example. Like what would you say? Let's just. It's pretty safe to say that trans people are treated like normal people. They have similar rights. Everything's normal for trans people, but they want more. Like when you go to a trans person, they're treated like everyone else. They're not ostracized. Well, some people are ostracized, but everyone's generally accepting. They live like normal people, but then they want more. And it's like, and when they I watched a video which just made me just what would you say? It just showed that they don't really care too much about actual people. It was in America. This guy asked the, I guess, representative of trans rights and shit in the government about the mutilation of children, which is fucking terrible. Like parents forcing children to be trans when they don't have any fucking idea of gender or something like that, and forcing them to transgender. And he asked about female and male mutilation, gender mutilation, and he said, "Oh, the representative said, I'm not in the position to talk about this, and you don't need to be in position to talk about that. That's bad. It's obviously bad, but he didn't say anything." But well, he did say something, but he said, "I'm not in the position to talk about this." Like, what? How are you not in a position to talk about kids getting mutilated and being forced to be transgender? It's like, why can't you, say something about that? It's a pretty obvious stance. You should be against this. Like, you should be allowed to be transgender. Like you're 18. You have a concept of gender and stuff like that. You're not a child. You know what like you know what gender is. You know all that, and you can make a concise decision about it. If you can become transgender when you're 18, fuck it, there you go. It's your choice. I don't really care. But below that, it's just no. It should not be allowed. It should be illegal, in my opinion. It's not gonna be illegal, but it should be illegal. Should not be allowed. Because that is disgusting. You're forcing a child to do something which is going to impact the rest of their lives, and they don't know a single thing about. It shouldn't be allowed. But for some reason it is, and people support it. They don't allow it. Well, they do allow it. They do more than allow it. They support it. Like, you're homophobic or transphobic if you don't allow it. Which is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever... It just... It makes my brain hurt when people are like that. It's like, why the fuck are you allowing this? You shouldn't be allowing this. It's a child. They don't know what the fuck they don't know anything about gender. Deciding, well, you deciding about, you know, what their gender should be. Like, it's never made sense to me. It kind of hurts my brain sometimes. It's like, how do people allow this? Like, if it was 18 plus, I wouldn't really care. Like, it's your thing, whatever. But they don't. But they don't. People support it and have this fanatical support about it. Some people see it as the wrong that it is and call it out, but of course they're called transphobic. I'll probably be called transphobic. I don't really give a shit, but you know, like, people should see it as a wrong thing because it is a wrong thing, but people aren't gonna see it like that. Because today's society, if you do something that criticizes something like trans rights, you're automatically transphobic, which doesn't make sense. You're criticizing something, you should be allowed to do that without fear of being fucking cancelled or some shit like that. It should be obvious, but it isn't for some reason. Just hate how what would you call it? How backwards our society has become. That they allow children to be mutilated. Oh, what the fuck? I thought I lost my army there. To be mutilated, and a choice made on their parents' behalf that they don't know a single thing about, and that's fine to society. It just boggles the mind, but that's the world we live in, I guess. And speaking on criticizing something, I'm Muslim, and people criticize my religion, which is fine. That's how you get a good debate going. You criticize, then you have a good talk about it. There you go. But some people don't do that, and they fucking hurt somebody for no fucking reason. Which I'm absolutely against. Like, why the fuck? Like, I understand what happened, you know. Prophet, peace be upon him. Picture shown. It's a bad thing, it's an offence to Muslims like us, but you don't behead the guy. You don't fucking do that. Like, I know it's a wrong thing, like, it is offensive to us, but it's like, you don't behead the fucker, well, the guy. It's common sense. Like, oh, you can, you know, like, oh wait, a sheet of code, very nice. Like, you can argue about it, you know, talk about, to their school about it, or something like that. Peaceful protest about it. You don't behead the person. Especially in a country where this has happened before. We're talking about France. This has happened before, and I think there was riots or some shit like that. It's like, you don't behead a guy just because he offended you, the religion. Like, you don't do that. You can argue about it. You can talk to the school about it or something like that. You don't physically harm somebody over it. The thing is, it was very offensive, but it's like, you don't do those things at all. It should be common fucking knowledge, but... And the thing is, the guys that probably did it, he did do it, the guy who did it probably wasn't even a good Muslim to begin with. And then he beheads a guy because of that. It's just bonkers, really. Be hypocritical. Sick, cool times. Should have called him shit. Yeah, it's just hypocritical and dangerous because the relations between Muslims in France and French people isn't very good. It's not been good for a while. And then you behead somebody. Like, that's not gonna help. You need to talk, not fucking aggressively attack the person. But people are fucking stupid and don't understand violence isn't violence should be the last resort, not the first resort. Well, it shouldn't be a resort anyways. You don't fucking attack somebody unless they attack you first, physically, not emotionally or something like that. You don't kill a guy over if him offending you, or the religion in this case. You don't do that. You talk to the person or the school or something like that. And well, I've read the I haven't read it. I've seen the video in the Lotus Eaters about the generals calling for. Well, they weren't calling for a revolution. It's like sort the shit out, like, you know, about the Muslims and all of that, which is a fair point. Like, France's attacks are pretty fucking bad and shouldn't be happening. And I understand what the generals are saying. Like, France, the stuff I see in France, it doesn't look good. Like, France has gone down quite a lot. Like, what would you say? Like, French society has gone down a bit, like, because of the migrants and all that. People not integrating well, clash of cultures, clash of religions, stuff like that. Like, French society has gone down a bit because of the differences between different groups. Some Africans don't like each other, Arabs don't like each other, Pakistanis, Indians, shit like that. It's a melting pot, which isn't very good. And I don't know what, like, I'm not a very good politician. No, of course I'm not, but I haven't been a politician, but, like, I don't see, like, a easy way of fixing this, because it's like cultural stuff, religion clash, stuff like that. I don't really see like an easy way of fixing stuff like that. And I would love to have like a debate with somebody, like, you know, once fixed it out. Like, it would be an interesting debate. I like debates a lot, but I don't really have somebody that talks to. Like, my friends are more conservative, I guess. Yeah, they're conservative, I think you would call them. And I understand their views most of the time. What else could I talk about? Actually, I think that's a pretty good place to stop, I think. We can talk about it more, like, people are fucking military coalitions. I hate coalitions. I can talk about it more later on. I can save the game. Yeah, I'll probably talk about it more while I play this Japan game. Please comment down below and start a discussion. Probably won't be a discussion because I'm a new channel, like started a month ago, I think. So there probably won't be a debate, but hopefully people can listen to my thoughts and opinions without attacking me. If you do attack me, I'll find it funny, but, you know, whatever. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and comment down below for the algorithm, so more people can see it, at least. Thank you very much.